All right, fight fans, welcome back. We're diving into a matchup that has everyone talking Adesanya versus Imavov.
Yeah, this one's got some real intrigue to it. On one side, you got the former champ Adesanya, known for his striking.
Exactly. And then you have Imavov, who's really coming up as a contender,
And he brings a more well-rounded game to the table, right? Especially strong on the grappling side.
which makes you wonder, can Imavov dethrone the former champ? I mean, that's the big question here. I think.
Absolutely, it's a clash of styles, and it's a
Right.
question of, can Imavov really impose his game plan on Adesanya?
Well, let's break it down. Let's start with the tail of the tape.
All right, so Adesanya's got a pretty clear reach advantage.
Like significant, right? I think it's 80 inches to Imavov's 75.
Yeah, that's a big difference, especially in a striking battle. But Imavov's got some advantages too. He's younger,
Yeah.
and there's this talk about his chin.
Yeah, like granite chin, never been wobbled.
Exactly, and that's a scary thought when you're facing a striker like Adesanya.
So how do you see that playing out? I mean, can Adesanya use that reach to keep Imavov at bay?
It's possible, but Imavov is a pressure fighter. He's going to try to close that distance and make it a brawl.
And we know Adesanya has been vulnerable to power shots in the past, right?
Right. So if Imavov can land something big, it could be a problem.
But then again, we got to remember, Adesanya is coming off a loss, his first at middleweight.
Ah, yeah, that's a good point. How will that affect his mindset? Will he be more cautious, or will we see that same killer instinct?
And on the other side, Imavov is surging. He's got that hunger, that desire to make a statement.
You can't underestimate that kind of motivation, especially against a guy who's used to being at the top.
So let's get into the specifics. Let's talk about the striking.
All right, so in Adesanya, he's known for his speed, his precision, those creative combinations.
He really put on a clinic in his last fight, even though he didn't get the win.
But Imavov's no slouch on the feet either. He's got power in both hands. Those kicks can be devastating.
And I've heard some people say he might even have the edge in close quarters boxing.
Yeah, that's an interesting thought. If Imavov can get inside and make it a phone booth fight, he might be able to do some damage.
So you've got Adesanya, this like surgical striker, picking apart opponents from the outside.
And then you have Imavov, who's just throwing a high volume of strikes, really mixing it up with kicks to the legs, body, and head.
And that brings us to maybe the most intriguing part of this whole matchup.
The grappling.
Yeah, I mean, Adesanya has fantastic takedown defense,
Some of the best in the division.
but Imavov has shown he's willing to take the fight to the ground, and he's been successful with it
He averages like almost one takedown per 15 minutes in the octagon.
compared to Adesanya's near zero.
Yeah, so that's a significant difference. And it's not just the takedowns themselves, it's the threat of the takedown. If Imavov can keep Adesanya guessing, make him hesitate to throw those strikes.
It could open up some opportunities, right?
Absolutely. And we can't forget about Imavov's submission game.
Oh yeah, he's got a higher submission rate than Adesanya, and he's finished fights on the ground before.
So even if Adesanya can stuff those initial takedown attempts, he can't afford to get complacent on the mat.
So we've got this really interesting contrast. Adesanya, the master technician, trying to keep it a striking battle.
And Imavov, this relentless pressure fighter looking to make it a grind.
It almost feels like we're talking about two completely different fights.
Yeah, and that's what makes this matchup so unpredictable, right? Like, on paper, you might favor Adesanya's striking and his takedown defense.
But, you know, as they say, fights aren't fought on paper.
Exactly. Imavov has that, almost like X factor, that ability to create chaos and make things uncomfortable.
And we've got to consider the mental game too, right? Like Adesanya stepping back in there after losing his title.
Yeah, there's definitely pressure on him to prove he's still the best.
Whereas Imavov is full of confidence coming off a win streak.
He's got nothing to lose, really.
It's a fascinating dynamic because we know Adesanya is mentally tough. He's been in these big fights before.
But that loss to Pereira, I mean, it had to have stung a little bit.
So will he be more cautious? Will he try to prove a point?
And how is Imavov going to handle fighting a former champ on this big stage?
So many questions. But, okay, let's try to game plan this out a bit. Let's say you're Imavov. What's the path to victory here?
I think he has to make it ugly. Close the distance, make it a brawl, drag Adesanya into deep waters.
You can't let Adesanya dictate the pace and range.
No way. He's got to use those kicks,
Yeah.
keep Adesanya guessing, and then look for the takedown opportunities.
Because if he can get Adesanya on the ground,
It changes the whole complexion of the fight.
but you know Adesanya's takedown defense, it's not a joke.
He's stuffed takedowns from some of the best wrestlers in the division.
So Imavov's got to be creative, mix up his attacks, Maybe even catch Adesanya off
Well,
guard.
and he's got to be careful of those counters. If he rushes in recklessly.
Right into one of those straight rights or knees.
Exactly. Those are fight enders.
So high risk, high reward strategy for Imavov. He's got to be aggressive but smart.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's flip the script. Let's say you're Adesanya. How do you win this?
Keep it at range. Use that footwork and those angles. Avoid Imavov's power shots and just pick him apart.
Jabs, leg kicks. The classic Adesanya game plan.
It's effective for a reason. He's so good at controlling the distance and frustrating opponents.
Make Imavov miss. Make him pay for it. Slowly break him down.
And maybe even score a late stoppage.
But he can't get complacent, right?
No way Imavov's got that power. He's willing to take risks.
Adesanya can't afford to get caught in a firefight.
That's where Imavov thrives.
So it's a battle of wills,
A
right?
chess match.
And both players have dangerous pieces.
Yeah.
It's tough to say who has the advantage going in.
But it's going to be fascinating to see how it unfolds.
Absolutely. I mean, you've got power versus precision youth versus experience hunger versus legacy.
It's a fight that could go either way, and that's what makes it so exciting.
So we've really gone deep on this one. Scat styles, all the potential scenarios. But you know what's really got me thinking is
Oh, yeah.
Adesanya's adaptability, right? We've seen him adjust mid-fight so many times.
He's a master at it.
So how does he negate that takedown threat from Imavov? I mean, does he pull out some new tricks?
Or maybe he focuses on just keeping Imavov at bay, like
Right.
really utilizing that reach advantage.
It's a puzzle for sure. And then there's the durability factor, right?
Yeah, we've never seen Imavov truly cracked.
Well, Adesanya, he's been wobbled before.
So can that chin hold up against those precise, powerful strikes?
That's a huge question mark. And think about this, the implications for the division.
Oh yeah, if Imavov pulls off the upset.
He's right in the title picture. The whole landscape changes.
It'd be a massive shakeup,
Yeah.
but a dominant Adesanya win, that just solidifies his legacy.
He's back on top.
Yeah.
So much on the line in this one.
A fight with power, speed, skill, and a whole lot of uncertainty.
Makes you want to just fast forward to Fight Night Rioting.
Nate?
But you know what? As you're watching it all unfold, keep this breakdown in mind.
Absolutely.
And remember, sometimes those most thrilling moments, the ones we least expect. Well, folks, that's going to do it for this deep dive.
Yeah, great breakdown.
We'll be back soon with another one breaking down the biggest, most fascinating fights out there. Until then, stay curious, stay engaged, and keep those predictions coming.